Welcome back. Joshua Shin from Young Voices, and also Marcia Dyson, who's a regular commentator on international and foreign affairs on our platform, joins us to recap on this Saturday, November 12th, what we all learned from the midterm elections. Obviously, because there was no wave, Marcia, you decided to dress in red the day to bring the wave.
No,
I get your message. No. You wanted to bring the wave in your red.
I got my red tie, too.
And Josh has his red tie.
And you have on a blue shirt,
and
so here we are.
I'm a little red.
Right, okay.
But, was there a red wave? This election is not over. We know the Republicans will control the House, Joshua. And the Senate is still in play.
Yeah, I think there was a red wave in specific areas, right?
New York?
Yeah, New York was the biggest one I think that everyone should look at. I think that Lee Zeldin should get some type of leadership position despite his losing to Kathy Hochul. He buoyed so many races down ballot that, well, I think they won four GOP candidates won in New York, including the first gay Republican, right? Openly gay Republican was elected against another gay man. That was a very interesting race, and I think a good sign for the party that we can diversify in and our base. Like we saw in the areas that the GOP did strongest.
Well, before you get off that, we have to talk about Democratic Congressman Patrick Mahoney in New York. Lost big time.
Yeah.
Joshua.
There's a lot of Democrats who are really upset about that, especially the progressive wing, because Maloney bumped out Mondaire Jones, who infamously voted by proxy from France from a friend's wedding, but he was also a rising star in among the young progressives in that area. So there is a bit of bad blood there that a DC insider to them basically flubbed the seat. I saw Mondaire Jones tweet "Yikes" after the results were announced, and yeah, I think, but New York is one of the bright spots in an otherwise tepid showing from the GOP.
Joshua, what role did Gen Z play in stopping the red wave? I've seen a lot of Twitter activity that they're boasting of the fact that they saved Biden from collapse.
The turnout for Gen Z was not actually significantly higher than other elections, right? It was below the 2020 presidential election and far below, and I guess around where it was in 2018. It's just that they skewed so heavily toward Democrats. And this is partially due to, as we have seen, the role of abortion, the role of the Dobbs decision on these races. And the states that Democrats tended to overperform in also had ballot initiatives or abortion as an issue front and center on the ballot. I think that is something to keep in mind. I saw someone tie the Gen Z wave to TikTok and tried to make a conspiracy theory with China trying to affect our elections, but they are being activated, and I think that it is something to be mindful of. But again, only about 30% of that demographic showed up, and the age groups higher up that are older still have bigger turnout. So I think it's overstated, but it shouldn't be ignored.
I hope you're enjoying this discussion with our all-star panel as much as I am, because I'm also learning. What I want to talk about now is President Biden's political obituary. Now, I don't know if people realize this or not, but Biden, in the midterm, did much better than former President Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. He still has life, Joshua.
Yeah, I think that rumors of his death have been greatly exaggerated. He seemed very triumphant at the press conference after Election Day. And not only that, what Republicans have to keep in mind is that the Democratic victors, especially the governors like Whitmer, those are potential successors to Biden, right? it wasn't widely discussed that Democrats were facing basically their bench being wiped out if the red wave had come to pass. But now you have a lot of second and third term Democrats that may be, especially in the House, that may be able to challenge for statewide office, that may be able to challenge for Senate seats. And now these governors, like Whitmer and Shapiro, those are the ones that could set themselves up for a 2028 bid, because Biden, off this momentum, is probably going to run again.
You know, Joshua, Republicans overpromise and underdeliver, but winning the House is a big deal. Possibly winning the Senate is a big deal. When you think about chairmanships, conducting investigations, having subpoena power, that's a big deal. No matter what you say about the midterm elections, that cannot be ignored.
Yeah, if we get it, right? So.
Oh, we're going to get the House.
The House for sure.
The House for sure.
But the Senate it's a lot shakier than anyone expected, and I think this is partly to Sherman's point that moderates were expected to break toward the GOP over discontent with the economy and with crime, but they didn't. Numbers coming out of Pennsylvania, even Georgia, are showing like 10-point advantages to Democrats from independents, which we did not expect, which Republicans did not expect. I think that for the House, for the Senate, for Congress, the dynamic that ties together Stacey Abrams and Beto O'Rourke with the Trump candidates is that voters in those states don't feel like those people are loyal to the state, right? They are loyal to themselves or to an external authority. I think those voters expressed their discontent and rejected those candidates, especially the large personalities, the ones that don't have as much policy to back them up, because voters are looking out for what's in it for me, right? This is back to Ben Carson's point. It's about the people, and they don't want to be ignored. I think that going forward, Trump is an issue on the ballot, but it's a larger, more meta problem with the way politics have become about celebrity, about the media, and about just trying to take over the airwaves instead of delivering.
It is interesting, the man on the street pointed out this, well, that was Kevin talking about, he was stunned that Abbott just trounced in Uvalde. They voted for him. What message did that send to us, Joshua?
Well, I think that it's that policy counts, right? And Abbott is also another governor that ran as an incumbent, as someone that has a record to point to, as opposed to these more personality-based candidates in other states. And those are the candidates that are doing best. Those are the ones that are serving the people. And I think that a lot of voters down there, especially if you live in the community, understand the failures were not of law. It was of culture. It was of mental health. It was other failures that didn't necessarily come down to gun ownership, because Texas has a long history with guns, right? And also that area is very Hispanic. So it's not as if this is more a supporting the GOP's rising diversity, but let's see if we can hold on to it. And just really quickly, I think that this election has shown that voters aren't stupid, right? Because all these ballot initiatives have been dealt with very fairly. There was a California one where unions lobbied to put doctors and other medical professionals inside dialysis centers, and that was soundly rejected. I think that there is a thirst for this type of information, good information that with which voters can make decisions. We just need to help provide it, because I think this election and the way it broke down shows that voters are watching, they are listening, and they do expect more from their politicians.